The Esports World Cup has started, and with it comes the Great Shilling World Cup. That's what really is happening. It's all about the big shilling. I haven't watched a second of it. I recommend you don't either. But what I am going to be paying attention to is the shilling. This is the real competition that's going on right now. Who's going to shill the hardest for Saudi? And so we move out of Pride Month, where, by the way, it's been the most quiet Pride Month we've had in esports maybe ever since Pride Month started. Barely anyone celebrating it, talking about it. Nobody wants to catch the strays that Team Liquid were, which, by the way, there's an argument. Are Team Liquid the most hypocritical? Sure, but are they also arguably the most, I don't want to use the term courageous, but the ones brave enough to at least be willing to take the flak for trying a double dip? You know, the rest of the orgs just said fuck all and took the money. So anyway, I've been paying attention to all the ups and downs and what's going on around the Esports World Cup, and it's just been so fucking funny to witness. And so let's start with League of Legends. League of Legends had a talent announcement, and you'll recognize some of the names. I'd recognize some of the names. So here we go, Esports World Cup talent announcement. And you can see, look, some people that I am kind of loosely associated with, colleagues of, whatever you want to say, D-Gon and Wolf. And it's mostly the LCK guys. People are conspicuous by their absence, right? And anyway, listen, I had some people ask me, they said, isn't it awkward that you do content over at Last Free Nation and so do Wolf and D-Gon? And it's like, well, there's a tier list in my brain, and there always has been, about this Saudi stuff. At the very top of wrong, and people I will light up all fucking day, will to fail, right, is right at the very top, the mafia of the mediocre that are the ESL group and all their shill fucking orbiters and failed fucking team owners that are now taking money from them, either via the Savvy group or via the Esports World Cup run by Ralph Reichart, mysteriously, former co-founder of ESL, right? Because I know for a fact those people raised money through initiatives where they would be being like, what can we do to get money out of the American market? Diversity and inclusion, equity, what are the other buzzwords? Okay, cool. Let's all get women's teams now, and GG for all, and thanks for the money. Intel, thank you. And then it's like you go and work with the Saudi Arabian state. So those guys, they're at the very top. I'll always make time for them. I pray on their failure every single day. The best thing that can happen for esports is for all of this Saudi Arabian state money to dry up inside of 3 years, for the entire project to crater, and then for all of us, when the cunts that took that money come crawling back for forgiveness and for credibility, you just spit in their face and say, fuck off, never again. You're never going to be in charge of anything again. You're never going to get to fucking use me as a shield ever again. We are not supporting your failed business projects ever again, right? So that's where I'm at. So they're at the very top. The next one down, anyone who has virtue signaled publicly about how much, I love the gays. Oh, women, love them. Blah, bloody misogynists. Blah. Anyone who's been that and then coming out going, they drive now. Yep, you're next on the list. Underneath that, there are people who say, listen, I don't give a fuck. I just want to make money, right? And then underneath that, there's people who go, my values are actually aligned with the Saudi Arabian state, so why wouldn't I work with them? And you go, well, can't really call you out. You're at least you're consistent. So that's kind of the tier list in my brain, right? And so D-Gon and Wolf, they've never publicly gone out and fucking been like, oh, help them, this maligned group. I love them so much and I stand with them and I would do anything for them and I would die for them. Oh, hello Saudi. Hello Riyadh. What's that? A big bag of fucking money, and all I have to do is renounce any support whatsoever for Saudi Arabian gay people. Oh, it seems pretty easy. They never did that. And I don't think they ever even intimated they wouldn't work an event like this. So, listen, I'd rather they didn't. Of course I'd rather they didn't. I wanted that talent announcement to just be a big black square or to be names no one has ever heard of. That's what I wanted. But that was an unrealistic goal from the start. So, okay. But there's two people in particular on this list that fucked up. And they got lit up. And I'll tell you, while it's never nice, and I would never advocate for dogpiling or harassment or abusing people through social media, you can't walk back what your beliefs about accountability culture. You can't do it. It's your little in-group that spent 4 or 5 years attacking people in esports, trying to get them out, painting them as being bigots or misogynists or problematic in some way. So, okay, your rules, your game. Let's keep that energy. I'm going to keep that energy. You've taught me well. I see you know your accountability culture well, sir. Unhand me. He touched my penis. Right? We can do that all fucking day. And here's the difference. When you were doing it to people, it was completely predicated on things you imagined, right? I'm doing it predicated on facts and receipts. The difference, the disparity between actions and words. And so there's not even a contrast between the two. So let's just start with Joshie Howard. He fucked up. He fucked up big time because in response to the embarrassing Team Liquid video, where Victor came out and said, this is why we're participating at the Esports World Cup, because if we boycotted it, we would lose our voice, right? He waded in and said, right? So this is in June. This is in June, guys. This is a few weeks ago. And he said, to say that the Sauds are making real change is laughable. To say that you lose your voice by boycotting is also ridiculous. Esports winter is harsh, and teams need money. Esports continues to show poor monetization from fans. Don't pretend you're making the moral choice by going, wah, 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 wah. Now, by the way, I have seen some fucking embarrassing capitulations on a position. You know, sometimes people do walk shit back, right? Sometimes you go, all right, I was wrong. My bad. I was on the wrong side on that one. Or sometimes you have to go, look, I was morally grandstanding. I can't afford to do that anymore. I've got a mortgage. I've got kids. So, yeah, I'm taking the money. I'm a piece of shit. Bye. Right? But it doesn't usually happen in the space of 3 weeks. That's like fucking insane. 3 weeks. That's like how long you can last. So anyway, he announced. So, the official announcement is not out yet. But I wanted to let everyone know I'll be on the Esports World Cup, right? In fact, it's not even 3 weeks. It's like 2. He held for 2 weeks. Frankly, my mental health has meant I need to do so. I won't pretend it's not selfish to go, so I'll be donating a portion of my earnings to charity after. Now then. It really should show you how fucking spineless a lot of these people actually are. Because they never, when they capitulate, they never just go, you know what? Honestly, it was never that big a deal for me. I just wanted some fucking good boy points and a pat on the back. Just say that. To imply to not work this event would harm your mental health in some way is insane. It's actually a crazy, borderline sociopathic thing to say. I have to go and earn the Saudi bag because it might make me depressed if I think about the bag. So that's point number 1. You should never have said that. That's ridiculous, my pedigree chum. Then I'm going to donate a portion of my earnings to charity after. I'm going to be sick. My tummy. It's insane to think donations to charity are this cleansing ablution. It doesn't work like that. I am sick and tired of people thinking you can spin bad money into good. It doesn't work like that. The cost at one end is not absolved, resolved, prevented with the function at the other end. It doesn't work like that. If a bunch of people are being oppressed and the enterprise through which to obfuscate that reality gives you money, and then you go build a children's hospital. Wicked for the children in the hospital, not wicked for the people that have lost an apparatus through which they might actually be freed, because you are now a paid co-conspirator in global silence about these issues. It doesn't work like this. It is a nonsense premise from the start, and yet it is the desperate reach that a lot of these people will go for. I have seen this time and time again. Liquid did it, didn't they? They monetized their explanation about why they were going to Saudi, and then said, "Oh, and we're going to give like $50,000 or whatever it was to charities." And it's like, well, you're making more by attending, way more, about tenfold. Also, I'll just say this. Anyone in the LGBT community, any women's rights activists that have been imprisoned or oppressed around the globe for trying to get equal rights for women, no, you don't just get to buy them off, sir. You don't just get to pay them to shut up and stop pricking your conscience. No. That's actually insulting, isn't it? The very notion that you thought you could do that. Yeah, I'll do a Joe Biden. The idea that we beat Medicare. No, I mean, yeah, the very idea that you can just buy people off, tell them to go away, shut the fuck up, stop making you feel bad, I'm giving some money to charity anyway. Don't work like that, homie. You have to own this. You will always, forever have to own this. You will always be the hypocrite. You will be the guy who on the 10th of June, or whatever it was, called out Saudi Arabia and said they're not making progress. Then when you got a phone call from Saudi Arabia and they said, we are desperate for commentators because many big names have rejected working for us because of the ethical compromise they would have to make, so we're going to overpay to get you out there. You said, great news, great for me. I get to work a big event. I get to raise my profile. I get a lot of money. So much money, I can even put some of it into a charity to make myself feel good for doing these things. It's kind of pathetic, mate. And then to invoke mental health, well, you've just shown me you don't really care about that either. So miss me when you're fucking tweeting for fucking Depression Week or Suicide Awareness Month or whatever it is, because you'll invoke it as a fucking shield. I'm depressed. I can't make lots of money. It's not good for my mental to watch other people earn more than me. Pretty fucking sad. And yeah, he got absolutely fucking destroyed. All the journalists turned up. Esports luminaries, other people that have said no to the bag. And then, because obviously, by the way, you are contractually obliged to suck off the event, say how good it is, how perfect it is, and how it's going to be amazing, and the best, and the biggest, and it's life-changing money. And so, he just tries to swerve out of it. I am excited for the parts of the show I know about, and I'm a huge fan of the players and teams participating, and I hope you'll enjoy the stories we get to tell about them. Well, I know what stories you won't be telling about them, mate. Lots of stories you won't be telling about them. So there was that. But also on that list was Gennaro. And back in January of 2022, she talked about a little podcast thing that she made. And she said this: I started Fake Gamer as an initiative for women, children, people of colour, LGBTQ+, and other minorities within the esports scene. I mean, this tweet, by the way, is that fucking Daenerys meme. I am the breaker of chains. Worship me, minorities, worship me. For I am saving thee. Pretty fucking gross, right? I started Fake Gamer as an initiative for women, children, people of colour, LGBTQ+, and other minorities within the esports scene after my own horrific experiences. Every single week, more stories come out, and I feel more helpless and disgusted with the state of the scene. I'm so sorry. Oh, okay, well, she's an advocate and an ally, right? So all of that she said there, just gone, just out the window, I guess. I mean, do you know what's happening to women in Saudi Arabia? Did you hear about this? You hear about this? It's Jay Leno. You see this? You hear about this? You hear about the women's rights activists being imprisoned for suggesting women shouldn't have to wear an abaya when they go shopping? Did you hear about the children that had confessions beaten out of them that weren't given due process by the Saudi Arabian state? Did you hear about Saudi Arabian border police mowing down, murdering, firing rockets on Ethiopian migrants? Last time I checked, people of color. Did you know that it's one of only 10 countries in the world that criminalizes the same-sex relationships by death, right? So I'm going to just say this. Esports is okay, actually, like, in comparison to that. So I'm glad that you're so sorry about how shitty esports is. Do you want to know a dark secret? It's shitty because of people like you. What do I mean by that? Because all of the problems in esports stem from pretty much two things. One, that all the decision makers, stakeholders, personalities, that about 90% of them are unprincipled, egotistical narcissists that care only about their own success viewed through the metric of attention and money. Okay? That's problem number one. That's you, by the way. Problem number two, somewhere along the line, esports was so welcoming, despite being a deliberately niche and grassroots project. We were so welcoming, we allowed all of the people like that to capture every single fucking institution. And they have led us into absolute fucking ruin, lying about it the whole fucking time, while people have been shouting outside, "The building's on fire! The building's on fire!" While you swan around saying to potential investors, "Oh yeah, that's our heating. It is warm in here. We'll get some aircon or something." And you turned around and you said to people pointing out that the building was burning for years, they were bigots and bad people and had no place in esports. And now you've led us to this point, where the only option is to take money from the fucking Saudi Arabian state or the Chinese government or the Russian government. And we're letting actual fucking tyrannies use esports and use you, a useful fucking idiot, for a terrible regime that violates human rights, to promote esports as the cleansing, sanitizing, normalizing of things that should not be normalized. So I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry that people like you have driven our industry into the ground through a lack of principles and morals. And by the way, I'm not even going to get into it. She didn't even need the money. Wasn't like she was going hungry. She makes TikTok videos where she's showing off Gucci bags. You know what I mean? Literally got a fucking Gucci wardrobe and then, yeah, I think I need to take this money from the Saudi Arabian state. Employed at LEC, already getting the riot bag, working in Germany where you've got a really good standard of living and you're making, by your own admission, 6 figures. Why did you need the Saudi money again? But hey, they drive now. So I thought that was funny. Something that won't surprise you as well in the great shilling that you're going to have to suffer through. Jake Lucky is evolving into his final form. That's Jake Lucky, newsman there. He's evolving into his final form where, do we even need to basically, Jake Lucky has hopefully now realized that he can never be a journalist, obviously. So he has evolved into the thing that was the highest aspiration he could be, a fucking human billboard. Well done. You are the equivalent of a fucking plank of wood on a fucking highway side lane. Well done. And you're really good at that, mate. I mean, apart from the fact, you do struggle with the disclosure part, I have noticed in the past. I like that analogy. Jace in the chat, of course. He says he's the Frank Horrigan of shills. Yeah, he might be. He might be the ultimate proto-mutant shill that cannot be destroyed. If there's anything that can be shilled for, Jake Lucky will shill for it. But I will give him credit. I'm going to give him credit here. He has used the appropriate hashtag this time. So, round of applause there for Jake. Well done, mate. So, naturally, he's tweeting about it and saying, it's the bestest. Look at all the money they have spent on this legitimate esports tournament. Haha, I'm doing this under the guise of news. Haha, look. They fly now. They have drones. Haha, 60 million. Life-changing money. Ha. So, definitely follow his account, which I know you do already, because how else would you ever hear about anything third-hand hours after it's already happened? So, obviously, it's one of those accounts that you just can't miss out on. I also got into one today. You know I rarely tweet these days, but it just fucking bugs me, dude. Like, when people you know say ridiculous things and they try and cloak it in innocence, like, oh, these are just my genuine thoughts, completely unchecked and unaffected by money. This is Fishsticks, Ben Goldharbour. He's been on the stream before. I lit him up about his dumb opinions about the FGC, a guy who used to have his finger on the pulse, but as he's basically been swirling down the VC toilet and just blinded by money, he just talks fucking bollocks all the time now. He can't help himself. So here it is. The Esports World Cup has officially kicked off with a $60 million prize pool, most in esports history, and I legitimately see more hype and discussion about it on LinkedIn than X. And he's perplexed by this, apparently. So I couldn't let it slide. I had to explain it to him. And here it is. That's because that's who it's for. The esports grifter class who found a reservoir of tainted money to keep their careers alive. And it's true. Go look at who's on the Kadia board. Go look at who's associated with the Esports World Cup. You've seen it. I've told you about it. I've done videos on it. It's like Jonas Gunderson. Jonas Gunderson spent years destroying NIP. Inherited one of the most successful brands in CS, one of the most successful orgs, great players, inherited it and drove it into the fucking ground. And was one of the people who, when that Rio sticker money for the cancelled major was meant to go to players, he was the guy saying, nah, Valve said we could keep it. Right? An organization that hired a convicted sex offender who was convicted for specific offences by filming women without their knowledge and having sex with him and then sharing the videos, hired to be a videographer for the women's team in NIP. And that guy just gets to go and fail upwards, and he's double dipping that motherfucker because he's taking money from the Qataris as well. If you've ever been on Esports LinkedIn, by the way, you will never see more repulsive opinions, posts, self-aggrandizing by all of the clueless grifter class that have failed habitually. Remember, esports as of 2024 is a failed project. The proof being that the only way it can exist is with Saudi money. And by the way, that's what they're all saying. All the owners of all the orgs say, we have to take this money. It's impossible to say no to this money. Why is it impossible? Why do you have to say yes to it? Could it be you failed running your business? Now, I'm from a world where if your business fails, you go under. Fuck you. But in esports, because everybody wants to get to that fucking demographic of young adults with disposable income that they never fucking spend on esports, but we're always hoping they're going to one day, you just get chance after chance after chance after chance because they want your money. They want your eyeballs. And now they want to control your moral outlook. Well, I see no problem with this. Now, Ben didn't reply to me because he knows I'm right. And then he went on to say this. He said, this will be controversial, but I actually want the Esports World Cup to succeed. It's everything I love in an esports event. A true multi-game and multi-genre global competition. It's driving dozens of orgs to pick up teams and players in undeserved games for the club championship. It's not driving them to do it. It's instructing them to do it, you daft cunt. They are instructed to do it. They are given money to do it. They are told, you're part of the program. We give you the money. You are now obligated to pick up a team and enter it into our contest to give it the illusion of credibility. It's not driving anything. Although the irony of you using the word driving isn't fucking lost on me, because they drive now. He then also said, it's a much-needed lifeline for a sponsorship-dependent industry who has had gambling and crypto sponsors evaporate over the past half-decade. Yeah, I'm extremely conflicted. Oh, we'll get to that in a minute, mate. But oil money is already all over the biggest sports in the world. Esports is not immune or special. Why not, mate? Why isn't it? Why can it not be immune or special? I'd argue it's special, for sure. You know, you can talk about the world of combat sports. Like, you know, I'ma just say it, guys. The UFC is never going to be like a hotbed of like diversity or inclusion or fucking, you know, speaking up about women's rights or gay rights or any of that. That's not happening. So it's okay that that's compromised in that way. Boxing has been one of the dirtiest sports for as long as I've been alive and beyond. Formula One was always a sport for the elite, so why wouldn't they be taking that type of money? They don't care. What else? Horse racing? Again, just another dirty hotbed of corruption. And then football. I mean, you know, literally the OG of corrupt sports. Like FIFA, UEFA, hello? We've got to a stage where these nations are openly bribing people so their nation can have a World Cup, and there's fuck all you can do about it. So why did esports have to be like that? And this is what I mean. He's like an OG. He's been in esports for a long, long time. So how can he think so little of this? And esports is different. It is different. And it is special because a lot of it, most of it, it's online. It's digital. It's for young people. Young people don't hold on to the ideas of the boomer stick and ball sports. It's always been one of the most welcoming spaces, by the way. I never accepted the premise esports was hostile towards gay people. If you believe that, go into a sports locker room. You know? I never believed esports was some supremely racist space. Because when I played rugby, me and my mate Leroy used to go to fucking small, tatty Welsh towns where people fucking racially abused him in the stands, and I used to get a fucking red card every fucking week for hitting some drunk, racist Welsh farmer. I never saw any of that in esports. But this is what I mean. The people that have driven us to this point, they hated esports for what it was, and they loved it for what it could be. A conduit to make them money. And that's what he's saying there. Now, I'll tell you something about Ben. You will notice that he's been a gamer and esports fan since 2001. He was one of the founders at Twitch. But you will see there, he's the leading marketing guy at Forge. Forge. That rings a bell. It's almost like, I don't know, I keep abreast of all of these developments. And so here you've got him. He just genuinely wants the Esports World Cup to succeed, guys. Just genuinely, apropos of nothing. Just a genuine opinion. He wants it to succeed, and he thinks it'll be good for esports, and his intentions are totally pure. Here's the announcement from October last year about Forge. Their $11 million in seed money that they got. And you're going to see a layer cake of fucking, it's all the same guys. Oh, look, Mark Merrill's there. Riot Games, Mark Merrill. Right? And then who's that at the end as an investor? It's Ralph Reichart. The guy running the fucking Esports World Cup was an angel investor in the company you work for. Fuck off, you fucking shill. I just want the Esports World Cup to succeed totally genuinely, apropos of nothing, because I think it will be good for esports. And by the way, oil money's everywhere. Literally coming out. Another useful fucking idiot to justify the unjustifiable. And he thinks no one will pick up on this. That's what he thinks. He thinks everyone in esports is stupid, and the smartest people in the room are running it now because they're the ones that activated the Saudi bag. But I know, brother. I know what side you're on, mate. And you're not with the good guys. And you ain't been for some time. There was also another big story that's kind of tangentially related. Well, actually, we'll get this one out the way. Just another thing over at the Esports Advocate. because obviously we have to make this all work, right? We're launching a fast-track visa program. Okay, that's a good thing. The Saudi Arabian government has launched an e-visa, or electronic visa program, to enable people with a streamlined method for gaining a visa to attend the Esports World Cup beginning next month. The 90-day visa program is aimed at boosting tourism and making it easier to enter the country, as it hopes to attract international esports fans to attend the 8-week competition. The new visa program is being facilitated through a collaboration between the Esports World Cup Foundation, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and the Ministry of Tourism. I love it, by the way. I love it when my esports competitions are working with the Saudi Arabian Minister of Foreign Affairs to create a special visa that allows you to temporarily go to Saudi Arabia so they can have a crowd at their sports washing tournament. Yeah, I love that. I believe they also have created a special one-way visa for journalists. So, it says there, you can go onto the website and there's government cooperation enabling it to the fast-track visa request. By the way, this will also apply to all the partners, all the players. This has to be there. This will be the mechanism, by the way, that they're going to get around this whole, like, well, you know, if we're Israeli, what the fuck are we going to do? Because every time Israeli athletes want to attend one of these things, because of the tensions, let's say, which, by the way, are being eroded under MBS. He wants the normalization of a relationship with Israel. They're currently locking people up for criticizing Israel and Saudi's relationship with Israel in Saudi Arabia right now. Some words I thought I could never say that. Never say that combination of words in a sentence ever in my life, right? But that's all to do with Iran and the relationship with them, right? So anyway, whatever. If an Israeli wants to go, the Israeli government and the Saudi government have to sit down and hash it out. And there's been problems around the Israeli delegation maybe going to the Esports World Cup and IESF tournaments. So this got flipped in. And I just thought it was hilarious because at the same time, roughly, this came out. There was a report, right? An independent security company called Nisos, Nisos, they did a threat assessment yesterday for the 2024 Esports World Cup, right? This is... right. I want you to remember... We've all been gaslit into this is a totally normal thing to be doing, and it's totally safe for everyone, and everyone is welcome, and why wouldn't you go? Okay. Right, well. Preparing for cyber and physical security risks at the 2024 Esports World Cup. High-profile events like the 2024 Esports World Cup, which will take place in Saudi Arabia between the 4th of July and the 25th of August, attract risks to attendees. Do they? Do go on. I've been told the total fucking opposite for years, actually. Participants and event-affiliated personnel from a variety of threat actors with a range of motivations. Nisos monitors the threat landscape to stay abreast of developments among cyber criminals, state-sponsored threat actors, and event-related physical security risks to provide clients with timely and actionable updates to ensure they are aware of and able to defend against cyber, physical, and reputational threats. Nisos regularly works in close partnership with corporate security, cyber threat intelligence, and trust and safety teams leading up to and during high-profile events and heightened periods of risks. And so it talks about cyber threats, right? Which, okay, basically what it's saying here is Iran has people that might be interested in getting everyone's data of the attendees. Right, so great. That's what I want. Then this Saudi electronic surveillance. Fuck me. Saudi Arabia could use its electronic surveillance and monitoring capabilities in combination with human sources to conduct surveillance against foreigners attending the Esports World Cup. Saudi efforts to acquire information on people critical of the Saudi government and to enhance competitive advantages for their businesses have not stopped within the kingdom's borders, and travellers may become targets for surveillance leading up to and during their stay in Saudi Arabia based on their employment or connections to individuals of interest to Saudi Arabia. In December 2022, a US court found a former Twitter employee guilty of spying on users on behalf of the Saudi royal family. Yeah, by the way, that was the old guard, so, we covered that one up. Yeah, remember the good guys at Twitter before bad Elon bought it? Yeah, they were spying on you. They were letting Saudis spy on people. They used that information to essentially capture, I believe a student that was critical of the Saudi Arabian regime. The former employee was part of a scheme to acquire the personal information of users, including email addresses, phone numbers, IP addresses, and birth dates of users who were critical of the Saudi government, and provide the information to a Saudi government agent. For what purpose, I wonder? In 2018, Saudi Arabia's Crown Prince's WhatsApp account deployed digital spyware enabling surveillance of Amazon CEO Jeff Bezos in an act the UN Human Rights Commission called a contravention of fundamental international human rights standards. The goal of the exfiltration of data from Bezos' phone was likely related to whether Amazon Web Services would establish a major data center in Saudi Arabia after AWS had announced plans for centers in Bahrain and the United Arab Emirates. So that's good. Definitely, totally, 100% legitimate and safe to go to this tournament over there and be putting in, I'll log into my Steam, I will log into my email, I will log in. Yeah, don't worry about it, guys. Nothing to worry about. Hope you don't have opinions like mine. Then, it just gets better. Physical threats. All right, okay. Physical threats. Terrorist threat. All right, well, I mean, okay. Terrorism continues to be a concern for visitors to Saudi Arabia. According to the US State Department, attacks can occur with little or no warning. Past attacks have targeted tourist locations, large gatherings, transportation hubs, markets, shopping malls, and local government facilities. Houthis, you remember the Houthis? They're on Hassan's stream. You remember the Houthis. Houthis operating in Yemen have fired long-range missiles into Saudi Arabia, specifically targeting populated areas and civilian infrastructure. They have publicly stated their intent to continue doing so. They have targeted major cities such as Riyadh and Jeddah, Riyadh's international airport, Saudi Aramco facilities, and vessels in the Red Sea shipping lanes. But, I mean, on the other hand, many of them are a fan of One Piece. So they got that going for them. Rebel groups are also in possession of unmanned aerial systems and drones, which they have used to target civilian infrastructure and military facilities in Saudi Arabia. Oh, that's great then. I mean, put it this way. I will say, obviously, any big gathering, any big sports event can be subject to a terrorist attack anywhere in the world. I'm not singling Saudi out. I will just say, if you look at the number of attacks that have come from these other breakaway radical Islamist groups, it's more than you would expect. Now, one of the things that also has been peddled is, hey, listen, sure, they arrest and imprison their own people, but I'm not from Saudi. I'll say what the fuck I want and get away with it. All right, well, keep that energy. The US State Department also highlights that social media commentary, including past comments, which Saudi authorities may deem critical, offensive, or disruptive to public order, could lead to arrest. This may include posting, reposting, or liking comments about Saudi institutions, policies, and public life. US citizens have been convicted for social media activity under Saudi laws concerning cybercrime, terrorism, and disrupting public order. Punishment for social media activity is included prison sentences of up to 45 years in some cases. Saudi courts do not necessarily consider the time frame of the posts or the location from which they were made to be material in these cases. Oh, all right then, yeah. Hey, by the way, I've heard from like other journalists that like they're all like it's absurd to even suggest that people critical of Saudi Arabia couldn't come to the Esports World Cup. Oh yeah, want to test it? Anyone want to test that theory? I'll wait. And you can have said it at any time. You know, Joshy's brave, isn't he? Literally, specifically criticised the House of Saud. And then 2 weeks later said, yeah, I'm going to that Esports World Cup. Well, wellity. Oof. All right, mate. Hope you look good in orange. I don't know why people are risking it. Now, obviously, because the purposes of this is fucking sports washing, they're not going to... Anyone who's in with them isn't gonna get it. It would only be for someone like me if I was fucking stupid enough to ever go on a plane to fucking Saudi Arabia. Like, if I ever got the call, no, Richard, we'd love to talk to you about your views. Perhaps we could convince you of the progress we intend to make. Okay. See, wow, business class? Yeah, I'm good. Miss me with that shit. And then we come to this. LGBTQ+. As of early June 2024, the Saudi Tourism Authority website stated that everyone is welcome to visit Saudi and visitors are not required to disclose their personal information, and each visitor's right to privacy will be respected. However, same-sex sexual relations, even when consensual, are criminalized in Saudi Arabia. Violations of Saudi laws governing perceived expressions of or support for same-sex sexual relationships, including on social media, may be subject to severe punishment. And then it brings up the 2017 story. You didn't have to go that far back. There's definitely more recent causes for concern, but this is a story I've highlighted as well in my work. In 2017, Saudi outlets denied claims two transgender women, along with more than 30 members of the LGBTQ plus community from Pakistan, were beaten to death while in police custody after being arrested. In Pakistan, transgender activist Farzana Riaz told a news conference on Monday that sources in the transgender community in Saudi Arabia had told her the two Pakistanis were beaten to death with sticks. Saudi media reported that police had arrested around 35 people after raiding a party where men were, quote, dressed as women and were wearing makeup. They did not use the word transgender, nor admit that anyone had been killed. They just disappeared, I guess. By the way, again, maybe I am pushing the globo homo agenda. What, like, so they're like, listen, we're gonna catch some heat if we say we killed some transgender people. No, what we did was we raided a party because people were like in there dressed as women and wearing makeup and that. And like, sounds fun. Like what are we breaking up parties, private parties for that for? Like, a normal, healthy society wouldn't have any objection to that, okay? And then attire. Tourists are expected to dress modestly in public, avoiding tight-fitting clothing or clothes with profane language or images. Women are not required to wear abbayas, yes, that got changed, or cover their hair, but are expected to cover their shoulders and knees. And men should not go without a shirt. Women who choose not to conform to Saudi Arabia's dress code face a risk of confrontation by a mutawa, negative or hostile comments by Saudi citizens, and possible detention. I believe mutawa is their equivalent of the morality police, which, you know, I think MBS has got rid of those, actually. And then look, Team Liquid received criticism. We did it, guys. Operation Pride Before a Fall is now informing independent corporate security reports. We did it. And this was because they tweeted out, we're starting the LCS Summer Split in style, competing in our 2024 Pride jersey. We'll be wearing this around the world throughout the summer. And it's been strongly intimated that they are going to wear this in Saudi. There's no way. And you would be insane as a player to wear that. I'll just remind everyone, remember how we were all going to wear the armbands in Qatar for the World Cup? Remember that? We were all going to wear the rainbows, weren't we? We were 100% definitely going to do it. And then, oh, what, you're going to give me a yellow card if I stand up for my principles and morals? Oh, sorry. And then they said everyone was welcome. And then they confiscated rainbows, didn't they? Anyone who had a rainbow hat, confiscated. Anyone? They confiscated a Brazilian flag which had a rainbow in it, not because it was anything to do with pride, but that was just their symbol from their state. They said you were going to be allowed to drink beer, and they took a multi, you know, they took like $1 billion fucking sponsorship, and then they said, actually, no, we ain't doing it. Sorry. Days before the tournament started, and you could only get non-alcoholic beer. So I don't expect Saudi to be any different on this shit. I don't think you're going to get to performatively wear your little rainbow in Saudi. And by the way, if you get to wear it on stage, that's crazy, and you are being afforded a very special privilege, let's say, because it was only last year the Saudi Arabian police had a crackdown on rainbows on kids' toys. And anything that had rainbow colours on it were confiscated, including like rainbow xylophones. That's true as well. I've highlighted that many times. But if you're a player and you're wearing that outside of the venue, nah. And I would even go so far as to say there's something really unpleasant about Team Liquid alluding to the fact they're going to do this. Because it puts the players in danger, potentially, right? And what? So you want to score some brownie points and prove you're not hypocrites and prove they drive now and Saudi Arabia is making progress. You're going to do that. So we'll see. We'll see if we get our Lewis Hamilton moment. So yeah, that happened. That was interesting. And of course, because this is all one big shilling exercise, people have been shilling in force. If you go to the hashtags, by the way, there's 2 that they're currently using. It's ridiculous. I mean, I didn't have any expectations, but here we are. XQ, you can go get to the watch party with XQC. I love this one. Remember the very woke, very socialist, very progressive, okay, boomer girl. Remember Nico? Yeah. Whatever you say, boomer. They just don't have any principles, guys. They just don't have any principles. All these people that will come out and LARP as caring about progressive causes. Oh, but Saudi money. Personal favourite. Double Grift is out in force. He's having a shill for it as well. Double Grift is there, guys. The old union buster. A man who once said to someone, I could buy a bank to buy your house. Would have thought he saved some of the Super Bowl ad money. Cringes in the chat. Listen, I like Ninja. And yes, he did do ad. He did do ad, correct. He did do ad. He admitted it was just an ad. Just all a silly ad. Tim the Tap Man recovered quickly from the heartbreak of the Dr. Disrespect situation. And yeah... Bizarrely in a shirt for this one. Now, Shroud did have a watch party, I think, but he didn't tweet about it, so fair enough. So fair dues. All the orgs have been out shilling as well. Check this out, Virtus Pro here, right? Now we've all laughed at the trophy, obviously. Right, because I don't know if you've seen the trophy. It actually, hilariously, it does look like a dildo. It is very phallic, right? And so here's the trophy. And look, wow, it's beautiful. Hashtag. Na, 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 na. Golden penis, it's a golden penis. Behold, the golden penis, the goldest of penises. So beautiful, right? Just you never done that? You never took your penis and put a little crown on it? You never done that? Just sit there looking at it like, yeah, I'm the king. Got a crown on my penis, yeah. You know, we've all done that. So yeah, obviously, all of these clips are coming, and they're in. This one, right, remember, this is a guy, went to Texas, Team Liquid at it again. This is a guy who went to Texas to support and stand with the transgender and the LGBTQIA+ spirit animal community, right? There he is, walking into the venue here at hashtag EWC. And they've even got this little emote thing they got to use, a little emoji. Well, I'll have a good time out there. Don't want to hear about Texas no more, though, buddy. So, yeah, the shilling has been absolutely off the fucking charts. I mean, it's been like nothing you've ever going to see. I've never seen an esports tournament have this kind of pathetic fawning, fake fawning around it. And it's funny because despite this, the opening didn't do particularly well. It didn't get like a lot of numbers. It's on the Fudge Man's Twitter account. He asks, is this good starting numbers? And you can see the VOD for the opening show of the Esports World Cup. I mean, obviously, you're going to have to add in all of the co-streamers, and you saw how hard they went there. But look, 3,764 views on their own stream. Oh, yeah, my head's in the way. There it is. So, I mean, it's completely inorganic. And yet, this is what people like Fishsticks want to have fucking succeed. And I don't think it's good for esports if things like this succeed. Corporate exercises, advertising projects. I think it's pretty pathetic. But we'll see. We'll also see if the community's going to boycott in any meaningful way when it gets to the good games. Probably not. People are going to watch it and just accept their corporate slop and say thank you for it. And I just think that's sad and pathetic. In fact, actually, there's one more part to this story that I want to draw your attention to. Again, just to show you how compromised esports is with all of this stuff. And how it probably is only a matter of time before someone in a room somewhere is actually discussing killing me. Right? Because it's like, there's hardly any dissenting voices to this. I told you that the Esports Insider had problems. You can see this was also yesterday. This is the Esports Insider. We've talked about them before and the money and whatnot, the sponsorships that they've taken. And you can see here, is winter thawing? Industry leaders discuss esports finances. And by the way, just an insane cringe opening. There is an Italian legend that the last 3 days of January, the so-called days of the blackbird, can predict whether the spring season is just around the corner or if winter will clasp its grip on the landscape for a bit longer. Yeah, I'm good, actually. Miss me with this fucking I'm at college writing an essay trying to sound profound opening. Right, miss me with that. The esports industry is in its days of the blackbird. The worst of winter seems to have passed, but spring is still not in full bloom. How close is esports to seasonal change? Now, what they do in this article, right, is they are trying to tell you, right, much like they drive now, esports works now. It works now, guys. It works. And they are telling you, falsely, of course, that there are no problems we've turned the corner in esports. And you're going to see all the same names. You know, it's G2, right? 100 Thieves, right? By the way, we're 2-2. Steve Arnset, right? Team Vitality. You know, all of these orgs have something in common with their business partners. And anyway, I'll show you. There are instances where the need for capital and revenue outweighs the need to appeal to the fan base, and thus organizations make decisions that could potentially alienate fans. Such is the case for the Esports World Cup, where the record-breaking prize pool, I don't know what record has it broke? How is it record-breaking? 60 million, even if you took the totality of the prize pool, 60 million isn't record-breaking. Where the record-breaking prize pool and other financial incentives drew in many established organizations to participate, despite pushback from fans on the ethical implications of participating in events hosted in Saudi Arabia, a country with a concerning human rights record. However, guys, we're going to however our way past that sentence. Okay, I'm in. However, esports is not one size fits all. Organizations need to scrutinize each esports ecosystem built around a title, as applying the same rules to all games simply doesn't function in today's world, says Jack Etienne, CEO at Cloud9. By ensuring that each team operates as its own independent business unit, Cloud9 says it generates revenue from competitions in a sustainable manner, where each game must at least break even financially, although the ultimate goal is profitability. The methods to access marketing dollars differ greatly. Is that it? Was that the Saudi bit? Are we just done with that? We're just done with that then, yeah? Because what's crazy is they are just talking about it as if they're like, listen, our businesses are functional, we have models, we've never been in trouble. Why did you have to take the Saudi stipend then? Remember, these orgs are taking a stipend from Saudi Arabia. That's what they're doing. They are having to be paid to have teams. But why? It works now. Your goal is profitability, right? Says here, Etienne said he has spent the last couple of years getting Cloud9 in the direction of profitability. bro, behind the scenes, everyone was saying they were fucking cooked financially. We were profitable last year, and that was the first time in a few years that we are profitable again. Oh, great. Any interesting developments financially, I wonder, that could have impacted on this? Huh. But that's it. 3 sentences about the implications of the Saudi Arabian state, while all the people taking money from the Saudi Arabian state gaslight you about how esports winter is over, guys, and it's over because of us. We did it. We got sponsors. We made our businesses sustainable. Absolute bullshit. Total rot from start to finish. There was nothing sustainable about your businesses. That's why you're all like coy as you're taking the Saudi bag while you're getting lit up on social media. But we had to. We had to take that money. It was impossible to say no. Ridiculous.